Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, a daily podcast devoted to spirituality and self-help. If you're new, I want to welcome you. If you're returning, welcome back. So today I wanted to talk to you about being the light. So many people have been commenting lately, I see it on social media everywhere, that this world is getting so dark. There's so many awful things happening, and if you turn on the news, you're just overwhelmed by all the things that you see, which is part of the reason why I just try to limit how much news I see, because I used to be the type of person that would watch it in the morning, watch it in the evening, and while it's important to know what's going on, watching the news can be incredibly depressing. And it can be a downer, and it can drain you of your energy. And like I said, you do have to know what's going on, but you don't have to be completely immersed in it and checking it out 24/7. It can be something that you just kind of limit. And with a lot of things, it's all about balance. So it's about limiting the things that are making you unhappy that you see. And I'm not saying that you just hide your head and imagine that it's not happening, but you don't have to be consumed by it either. And that's kind of the point. So you look around and you see all these horrible things happening in the world and you think to yourself, what can we do about this? How can we even fix this? And that's a good question. But the universe is saying if each and every one of us were to focus on being a light in this dark world, we would slowly begin to light it back up again. I want you to imagine going to a concert. You know what happens. And I'm going to say olden days, I sound pretty silly saying that, but in the olden days, someone would get out a lighter, and at first it was like one or two people, and then pretty steadily, the entire stadium would be filled with people holding up lighters. And nowadays, it's cell phones. They have their flashlight app on. So one or two people hold up a cell phone, and then next thing you know, the entire stadium is filled with people holding their cell phones with the flashlight app on, and it lights up the entire stadium. In the same way, if one or two of us would start to shine our lights really brightly, other people would see it and be like, what's going on with that person? I want to know what that person is doing. What are they doing differently that I'm not doing? Because they seem so happy all the time and their life seems so great. And look, we know our life isn't like 100% great 100% of the time. Things happen. But we know that we can dictate how and what shows up in our lives by the way we react to things. So when bad things do happen to us, when we choose to trust that the universe has our back and that we're going to be taken care of, we don't worry, we don't panic, we don't get upset. So to other people, to the outside world, it looks like nothing bad ever happens to us, or we have this awesome life because we choose to be happy. Even in times of difficulty and confusion, we just remain happy. And other people look at us like, what's going on with them? Why are they always so great and they're so happy? And how can I be more like that? Because we talked about before, when you shift yourself, those around you shift too. And it's true. It really is true. That's exactly what happens, because people see you and they see how happy you are and how incredible things are coming into your life and how you're manifesting things. And then they look at you like, what is that person doing that I'm not? What does that person know that I don't know? What's the secret? I mean, there was even a whole series of books that came out called The Secret. And it's all about living the life you want. And it's because we're choosing to be happy with what's currently in front of our faces, knowing that better things are on the way. And it's true. And we have a choice every day whether we want to be happy or do we want to be miserable. And I don't know about you, but I mean, for me, being miserable is not a fun place. So I just choose to see the good in all things, even when it's really difficult to see. And then Not going to say that I don't ever go to a dark place. That's not true. I'm a human being. But it's about learning how to pull myself out of it and being better overall. And when I shine my light, I feel better. And I know that others around me see that and they go, oh, I want to do that too. I want to be that too. So when we're shining our light, it's like we are slowly illuminating it for everyone. Now, if you've listened to my podcast for a while, you probably heard the subtle hints that I'm a huge Disney fan. My family and I love to go. And they had this thing one time when we were there a few years ago. It was a Disneyland, and it was the Glow in the Show Magic Light Up Ears. And we bought a pair for my kids because, we told them they could have a souvenir. And we're like, whatever you want, you can have what you want. Well, we saw these things one night. It was during the Phantasmic show, I believe, when the lights in the park went off and there were lights in the show and the parade. Oh, and there was the electrical parade was there then. And the first night we saw these things, we're like, what are these? So they were these, like the Mickey ears that you purchase, but where the ears are, they had lights. It was like this white ear. So during the day, just like white ears. But at night, they would light up different colors. And they were actually timed to be in sync with the parade. So when the parade would come by and something would light up a certain color, the ears would light up the same color. And they had this wand that came with it that was like a paintbrush. And you could point it at someone and change the color of their ears. And oh my gosh, they were so just enthralled with these ears. They were like, this is what we want. We have to have these. And I remember at the time when we were looking at them, they were not cheap. I mean, they weren't super expensive, but we're just like, this is what you want to spend this money on? Because they had a dollar amount of money they could spend. They're like, yes, we want these ears. So we're like, okay, begrudgingly, we bought them these ears. And it seriously was like the best investment we made on this trip because the cast members would walk by and change their ear color, and they would change the cast members' ear colors. They had so much fun doing this. And my point with this was that just this little thing, it lit up the entire park, and it made everyone so happy. And I think that is one of the things that I love the most about going to Disney is that they know the importance of customer service, of making sure that everyone is in the happiest place on earth and having a good time. And it's that kind of joy and excitement that really rubs off on people. And you see it when you're there, if someone smiles and laughs and says something to you and makes your day, then you want to immediately go out and do the same for other people. And I think that is what we need to be that in this world, where so many things happen that can be negative and dark. And those people who are around you who, when something happens, it's immediately like the world is, like the sky is falling, right? They're like Chicken Little. They're like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. It's awful and nothing's ever going to be good again. And every little thing they react to they make a mountain out of a molehill, Everything's a catastrophe. When it's really, in the grand scheme of things, not that big a deal. There's so much energy and time wasted when you react to things like that all the time. Because in the grand scheme of things, most of the things we worry about are nothing. They're not going to matter in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year, yet we spend so much of our energy focused on it. And so when you're choosing not to do that and you choose to be light instead of, because it's all fear, it's fear-based. When you're imagining that the sky is falling, it's because you've allowed your ego to come in and tell you everything that could possibly go wrong. And the truth is, anytime I've ever looked at a situation where I panicked and went to that fear-based worrying and what's going to happen, I made things 1,012 times worse in my head. I really seriously did. It was like, okay, this was not a big deal, but you made it into this gigantic thing. And I don't do that as much anymore. I mean, I'm not going to say I never do it because I'm working on myself and I'm still a work in progress, but I know I don't do it nearly as much. But I have had the tendency in the past to do that. Like, oh my gosh, this happened. It means, one bad day at work, it's like, oh, I'm getting fired. Oh, this is going to be terrible. Oh, this is that. And you make it so much worse in your mind. But that's a miserable place to be. It really, truly is. And I was always making things, like blowing it out of proportion. Whatever was going to happen wasn't even close to what actually happened. That everything worked out perfectly in the end. And I can even remember in high school being that way, like, oh, if I forgot my homework, like panicking and making it such a big deal. And it would end up being a thing where like I forgot it, but that morning I had time to do it on the bus, or something dumb where I was like, oh, this is going to ruin my life. My GPA is going to be messed up. And it wasn't even anything serious. But we have a tendency as human beings to do that. And the universe is saying, don't do that to yourself. Don't waste your precious energy being afraid or thinking that things are going to be worse than they are. If you just take everything one step at a time, one day at a time, things are going to work out perfectly. You just have to trust and have faith, even when we don't see things happening in the 3D. Having faith doesn't mean that everything's going to work out exactly the way we wanted it to. It just means that we know it's going to work out for our highest good. And sometimes that means we don't get the thing we wanted because something better is coming along, and that's okay. But if we are examples of that to our friends and to our family, if they see us not panicking when things happen, not blowing things out of proportion, just living calmly our best lives in the moment where we don't allow fear to overtake us, to creep in and to make things worse than they are, they're going to notice because they're going to think to themselves, oh my gosh, he's so calm. Oh, she is so happy. What are they doing to make themselves that happy? What are they doing that nothing bothers them? And I've had somebody say that to me one time, like, nothing bothers you. Nothing seems to bother you. Well, it's not that things don't bother me, but I understand the importance of not giving up my energy and my peace of mind for things that aren't significant. And even if major things happen, even when those things happen, I still trust the universe and I know that things are going to work out in my favor. So if I know that, and I already know that things are working out on my behalf, then what do I need to get upset about? I'm just wasting energy that really doesn't do anything. It doesn't help me to worry and get upset. If I stomp around the house and throw a fit every time something doesn't go my way, all I do is, first of all, when I look back at it, I feel like I look stupid running around stamping my feet like a 3-year-old throwing a tantrum. And doing that didn't change my situation in the slightest. This is the funny thing. I think about this. I don't know why this just popped into my head, but as parents, if you're a single parent out there, or just a parent, you don't have to be a single parent, but if you're a parent, imagine your child, okay, when you've asked them to clean their room or to do whatever, and then you've asked them and asked them and asked them, and they don't listen to you, and you get to that breaking point, and so you ask them 5 times and they don't listen, and so then you snap, and you just lose it on your kids, and they're just like, oh my gosh, we better get out of her way because she's insane, And you're thinking to yourself, I'm not insane. I asked you to do it 5 times. If you had listened to me the first time, I wouldn't have to ask you the 6th time. And you think it's going to get results, well, if I blow up on them, maybe they'll listen. And it works temporarily sometimes. Sometimes they might actually then move to go lift a finger because they might be afraid that your next move is to a butcher knife or something and you're going to hurt them. But it's not it's not a permanent fix. That doesn't, you blow up on them and they do something in the temporary, but it's not a thing that lasts. It's not then they go clean their room all the time after that. It doesn't change things for the better because that's an emotional reaction and it's not fixing the problem. To fix the problem, you have to sit with your child and give them some kind of incentive or tell them, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. But we, don't tend to parent that way sometimes. Sometimes we're just very busy, and we get to the point where we let things bother us so much that we just explode. And maybe you're not a parent. Maybe you just do that with people in general. Maybe you let things get to you and get under your skin until you reach that breaking point, the straw that broke the camel's back, and you just explode. And the thing is, you're not advocating for yourself. It's when you just let things go and let things go and let things go, and then let it fester and let it fester and let it fester, and you don't say anything and you're not speaking your truth, you're going to be extremely frustrated and angry and resentful. And then all of that is going to come to the surface, and it's going to explode like one of those terrible volcanoes you had to make for your kids in science class. It's going to erupt because you didn't speak your truth. And so when we are the light, the universe is saying that. We know we can speak our truth all the time. And we don't have to be mean when we're speaking our truth. We're just standing up for ourselves. We can be the light by showing others, hey, I speak my truth for myself. I don't allow things to bother me. And I try to spread light in the world by doing little things for people and being kind. And we can do that sometimes simply by smiling at someone, or saying thank you, or holding a door for them. It's, people think, oh, I have to do something major in order to make a difference. You don't. The universe is saying, you make a difference just by working on you and by being the beautiful soul that you are. Because when you are the light, when you have it within you, you're a shining beacon for everyone else who then says, maybe I need to work on myself. And it's crazy how that happens. That kind of happened with my sister. I love her to death. And I could tell, her life was just in general stressing her out. You could just see it, you could tell. And I remember whenever I went through my transformation and all of that, she's like, well, what are you doing? Well, what are you doing with your life? And we were raised in one certain religion. When she got married, she actually converted to Catholicism, and so she's Catholic, along with, her husband's family. And I remember I started using cards, and she's like, well, what is that? Well, I don't know about that. It was very, I don't know about that. It's pretty judgmental at first. But then she's like, well, what does that do? Well, what do you do? And that happened with, with a lot of people in my family, like my mom too, and even my dad. They're curious, what are you doing? Well, what is that? And they just ask questions. And so I would just tell them, well, this is what I do. This is the meditation I do. These are cards that I use. This is for this, just explaining to them what I do in my daily life, that I use mantras, that I do meditation, I do this. And I even noticed, my sister the other day, she's like, oh, have you seen this meditation app? I use it all the time. I bought it. I use it in my classroom now, and my kids love it, and they ask for it all the time. So just by working on myself, it inspired my sister to work on herself. And then now she's using that in her classroom, which is going to help the kids that she has. I mean, do you see how it's a ripple effect? It's like a chain reaction. And you probably know people in your life who do the same thing. They ask you, what are you doing? Why are you so happy? Or what's changed? Or you look amazing, or you're doing this, you're doing that. And it starts off, it seems like they're just curious, what's going on with you, girl? And they start asking you questions. And then it becomes well, how do you do that? It goes from just a curiosity of what are you doing to then how are you doing it? So essentially, we are changing the world one person at a time. Just by changing ourselves, by being who we are, we're helping others. And so that's the message that the universe wants you to have, is just to continue to be the light. If you wish to see good in the world, be the good you wish to see, because it doesn't stop and end with you. It will continue on in a ripple effect, and you will leave a legacy. So don't ever feel what can I do? I don't do enough. That's not true. There's a lot that you can do and are doing. Just by working on you, you're helping the collective. So keep doing it. Keep going. You've got this. You're doing such a great job. Just keep up with it. And if you want to work on yourself even more, if you want to work with me, I offer coaching sessions. I offer Reiki. I offer past life regression, or I even offer readings. You can book a session with me. Simply go to my website, melissaoatman.com. See what I offer, and then you can contact me about scheduling an appointment for you. You can email me, you can text me, you can message me on social media. All of my contact information is in the description to this podcast. Well, I want to pull a card for you before I leave today. And the card that I'm pulling for you is from the Heart Thoughts deck by Louise Hay. And it's, I am a yes person. I choose to see myself and life in the most positive ways. As such, I say yes to opportunity and prosperity. I say yes to all good. I rejoice that it is so. I love that. So say yes to being positive in your life today. And again, it is a ripple effect. You will see its effect on other people and things in your life. So continue to be that awesome person that I know you are. The universe is so proud of you. I want to thank you for joining me today. As always, if you like this podcast, please subscribe. Please share it with others. That helps me to fulfill my mission, which is to help as many people heal as possible. I have a contest going on right now. If you share my post about my podcast and you like it, I am going to put your name in for a drawing, and I'm going to select one winner to win a free coaching session with me. And all you have to do is like that post and share it. And every day for the next week, I am posting about my podcast on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And again, all you have to do is find that post, like it, and then share it on your social media. And if you do that, you will be entered to win the free coaching session. So you don't want to miss out on that. A coaching session with me is very unique. I tap into my guides, your guides, and your energy, and we figure out what you need based on what I connect to. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to follow me on social media, where you can, again, be entered for the contest. You can also catch me live on Facebook, 5:30 Central Time on Mondays, where I do a free card reading. You can also go back and see my past card readings too. I always say that whenever we see something is right when we need to see it. So if you go back and watch the past, you may see that some of those cards resonate with you now. Also, if you follow me on Instagram, I do post videos there as well, little mini card readings or energy clearing sessions. So go check that out. I want to thank you so much for being a part of my tribe. I hope that you are seeing amazing blessings in your life, because you are so worthy and deserving of that. And I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.